Wish that worked on my kids. Hello, welcome to the Commission's regular meeting for November 12th, 2024. Could you all stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Manager McGill, could you do the roll call, please?
Yes, Madam President. Commissioner Flynn,
Present.
Commissioner Grella,
Here.
Commissioner Siegler,
Here.
Commissioner Silverman,
Here.
Commissioner Swager Wilson.
Here. Thank you. Also, Manager McGill, could you give us a summary of the discussion session and any announcements?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Earlier tonight, the commission met in discussion session, received information, and discussed the following items. We heard a presentation on the proposed traffic calming improvement plan for Scrubgrass Road. We heard a presentation on the new Municity 5 permitting software that's being implemented by the inspection office. We ran out of time, unfortunately, so next meeting, we will hear a review of the various municipal contracts and projects that will be put out to bid. And we did hear a few updates on the activities of the various boards from their commission liaisons. Prior to that meeting, the commission met in executive session to receive legal advice from the solicitor on a variety of topics. The next meeting of the commission will be held on Tuesday, November 26th. That meeting will be held at 8 o'clock in this room. We also have a number of budget workshops for the manager's 2025 recommended budget. We have one tomorrow night, one on Monday, the 25th, and one on Wednesday, December 4th. Those are all from 6 to 9 p.m. And are held in room C. Here are the ways the public can participate. You can participate in person. You don't need to pre-register, simply show up at the appropriate meeting time or remotely via the Zoom webinar format. Again, you don't need to pre-register, simply click on the link located on the meeting agenda on the municipal website. If you wish to speak during the citizens' comments or during public hearings, simply use the raise hand feature and you'll be notified when it is your turn to speak. That is all I have, Madam President.
Thank you. Commission Vice President Grella?
Thank you, Madam President. Now that the clocks have changed and it's darker earlier, this is a reminder to make sure all drivers watch for pedestrians and cyclists. And a reminder for pedestrians and cyclists to make themselves visible with bright clothing and lighting while out and about. Let's work together to keep each other safe. Due to the drought, you're being asked to reduce non-essential water usage. Details are available on our website at mountlebanon.org under the newsflash item on the homepage. Mount Lebanon is getting ready for the holidays, and we want you to be aware of two fun events. Beverly Bright Night will be at 7 p.m. on Thursday, December 5th. Hang out with Santa, see the tree lighting, shop, dine, and sing. On Saturday, December 7th, it's Washington Road's turn with the Winter Market and Holiday Celebration from noon to 5 p.m. Shop food and crafts and vendors, visit Uptown Shops, meet Santa, play games with kids, hear music, and watch model train displays. Cap it off with the Clearview Common tree lighting at 5. Spots are going fast at the Mount Lebanon Residence Academy, a free 9-week program sponsored by the Mount Lebanon Community Relations Board, starting January 9. Program information and applications are available on our website at mountlebanon.org/resident academy. Finally, as you're setting up your holiday decorations and you find that one infuriating strand of lights that decides to call it quits this year, know that you can recycle that strand for a good cause. Michael Brothers has a collection bin in the lobby of the municipal building, 710 Washington Road. They will collect the lights and donate the proceeds from the recycling to Project Bundle Up. The lobby is open Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. That is all, Madam President.
Thank you very much. And now I'm going to turn it over to Police Chief Haberman.
Thank you, Madam President.
Mhm.
So thank you all. So again, it's a very important occasion at the police department over the last number of months. We went through a promotional process and we're here to recognize 4 distinguished gentlemen who are future leaders in law enforcement. It's really important for everybody to understand the process that they go through and their families have gone through over the last number of months. We appreciate what their families have put up with. We appreciate everything that goes along with it. It's a month-long studying process. These gentlemen have gone through, along with the others who went through the process, really an arduous process of learning policy, procedure, really getting into the criminal procedures of the state of Pennsylvania, as well as really kind of going back to everything they learned throughout their career. Through that process, they then get graded by their peers and other fellow law enforcement supervisors in order to grade them essentially in how they would be. And then they have an interview process. And in that interview process, I'm proud to say that we bring in law enforcement leaders from other agencies, and each one to a person complements our cadre and our group of folks that we put before them. So I will tell you, these 4 individuals have worked very hard to earn what they have, and to really the greatest privilege I've ever been given is to serve those who serve. And I will offer that again, that these gentlemen have earned that right to serve those who serve, which really, in my opinion, is no greater honor. So with that, what we'd like to do is call up these young corporals and recognize the transition from officer into young supervisors. We ask a lot of them, they're program managers. A lot of these corporals, along with the current ones, really are program managers in terms of whether it's community outreach, firearms, K-9, really high liability programs we put them responsible for. So we appreciate everything that they do. And again, it's as evidenced by the turnout of folks here that support them. They really have a lot of respect of their peers and respect from us. So I can't emphasize enough how much we appreciate each and every one of them and the work they put in and how proud of them we all are. So with that, we'll introduce the first young corporal, Mr. Matt Bradburn, Officer Matt Bradburn, I should say, who's going to transition into corporal here, and he's going to, your wife's gonna pin your badge on? Okay, with that, you wanna come up? Yep. So Officer Bradburn was hired by the MLPD in January 2019. He's a certified defensive tactics instructor, a certified bike officer, and a member of the SHACOG 13. Hang tight here. Then we'll get some pictures out here. Hang tight here. All right. Next, we have Officer Dan McBride, Corporal Dan McBride now. Can I pin a badge on it? Okay, so Dan was hired by the MLPD in September 2017. Prior to working at the MLPD, Dan was a full-time police officer in the Ocean City, Maryland. He's a certified defensive tactics instructor and a certified bike officer, also a physical fitness coordinator. Dan also serves as a field training officer and is currently a K-9 officer for our department. Okay, next, Corporal Grant Nagy. Grant was hired by the MLPD in December 2017. Grant is a certified OC and TASER instructor, and he is also a certified driving instructor, and he serves as a field training officer. All right, Corporal Jake Elk. Jake was hired by the MLPD in January 2019. He's a certified firearms instructor, a certified bike officer, and a member of the SHACOG 13. Jake also serves as a field training officer. With that, again, I want to thank all of the families for your support of your young corporals during their career. And again, thank you all, gentlemen. Really, very proud of each and every one of you. And thank you for, again, coming into the ranks of leadership. And really, it's no greater honor, and you've earned each and every bit of it. So with that, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it easier to wrangle the police or the kids?
You know the answer to that.
I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Yep. Okay, next, is Clara Sun, our junior commissioner, please.
Thank you, Commissioner, for this opportunity to share some of the exciting developments happening at our high school and to give a preview on what's coming up. The past few weeks have been incredibly active, and I'd like to start with the highlight of the developments of our Lebo's Got Talent holiday show. Auditions took place last week on November 6th and 7th, and we look forward to seeing all the incredible talents our students have to offer and to bring to the stage on December 4th. Yesterday, we had the honor of celebrating our incredible veterans for Veterans Day. Students who had relatives who are on duty were given ribbons to wear throughout the day, and we recognize the amazing vets on our faculty and staff. This tradition is a heartfelt way for us to show appreciation for those who have served, and it reminds us of the values of service and sacrifice. In addition to these events, our junior class council launched their annual food drive, encouraging everyone to participate in support of our community. Each homeroom will compete to donate the most food, and the winning homeroom will receive donuts. This is a wonderful way for us to come together and help those in need, especially during the approaching holiday season. In addition, the National Honor Society is also sponsoring a blanket drive, which benefits Grow Living Stones, an organization that provides support for anyone in need in the Pittsburgh area. Any student can donate new blankets in exchange for community service hours. Looking ahead, we have some important dates on the calendar. Tomorrow, November 13, our students will take their Social Studies Blue Book exams. We wish them all the best as they prepare for this assessment. On Thursday, November 14th, we'll recognize our fall athletes at the Sports Recognition Ceremony, and this event celebrates the hard work, dedication, and achievements of our Mount Lebanon athletes throughout their season. Sign-ups for the Lebo Legacy Games have also begun. This annual event features a competitive bocce ball tournament where teams compete head-to-head, showcasing their skill and school spirit. Everyone, whether that's extracurricular clubs, homerooms, or groups of friends, can participate. We can't wait to see who will take home the title this year. And finally, an exciting development for our school and a major upcoming change for students is the matter of integrating artificial intelligence into our curriculum. Over the past few months, a specialized team of Mount Lebanon teachers and staff have been working closely with the Middle States Association Responsible AI in Learning Program, also known as the RAIL program, to establish a forward-thinking policy that equips students to safely navigate through their use of artificial intelligence. Mount Lebanon is one of just 10 schools nationwide to earn the first ever AI literacy, safety, and ethics endorsement from the Middle States Association. We are also the only public high school selected for this endorsement, placing us amongst the founding 50 schools in the RAIL program worldwide. With AI comes the need for rules and regulations, and the teachers and staff working with the RAIL program have been working hard to establish AI ground rules and guidelines to help integrate AI into our curriculum. One aspect of our AI integration plan is giving students access to the use of Google Gemini, a chatbot which will hopefully be made available to students coming in December or January. The new AI policy aims to provide students the opportunity to experience and utilize the innovative benefits of AI in a secure, ethical, and educational context. As we move forward, we are excited to embrace this era of new technology and learning. And by integrating AI thoughtfully and responsibly, we are not only preparing students for the challenges of tomorrow, but also empowering them to lead with knowledge, ethics, and commitment to positive change. That's all for now for the updates from the high school. And thank you all for your time. And I look forward to continuing to share our school's journey of growth and innovation in the future. Thank you.
Claire, I got a quick question for you. You mentioned the blanket drive. My kids are out of the high school. Is there a way to donate the blankets? Can we drop them off somewhere?
I can check for you.
That'd
I
be
think
great.
right now
Just
it's
check it
more
out, you know.
just like students can donate through like their homerooms and like they're just new blankets that if you have new blankets, you can donate them. But I'm sure we can like figure out a way
Okay,
to have
great.
community people donate as well.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Commissioner Silverman, you can drop them off at my house. I have a teenager.
Okay.
There we
My
go.
wife will be happy to get them out of our house. So there you are.
That works. Next step are citizens' comments. This is an opportunity for any resident to express an opinion on any topic pertaining to local government. The commission enjoys hearing from the public on various issues and learning about items to address in the future. If you have specific questions, we will try and answer them at the end of your comments. If we can't, we commit to getting you the answers as soon as possible. When I call your name, please come to the podium to address the commission. State your name and address for the record. In fairness, we ask each speaker to share their thoughts for 5 minutes. The community is as good as each person in this room. We work together to make this a community that we can all be proud of, and we expect that the dialogue remains respectful. We also appreciate the audience's efforts to refrain from any behavior that is disruptive or might intimidate free speech. Mr. Reagan, I'm
Madam
sorry.
President, quick comment. I
Yeah.
wonder if some of the public comments might be about the budget and if that needs.
That's for the proposed budget hearing.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
This is just citizens' comments.
All right. My mistake. Thank you.
That's all right.
Good evening, John Reagan, 777 Shady Drive East. First of all, I just wanted to say I was listening to the discussion session earlier and I heard you guys talking about the municipal software for processing permits and such. And I just wanted to say thank you to Commissioner Grella for bringing up the issue of final inspections that aren't done, because as a professional engineer in the state of Pennsylvania, I can just kind of like walk down the street and be like, oh, that was not engineered. That doesn't meet building code. Sometimes in Mount Lebanon, sometimes not. And I, as a potential homeowner someday, that has been something that my wife and I have encountered where it's like, oh, they built this deck that visibly does not meet building code, and it's it never received its final inspection. So thank you for mentioning that during that session. The other item I wanted to mention was I see that there is a resolution for participation in the Allegheny County Economic Development. I assume there's more words to the name of that board, the Active Allegheny Grant Program. And the description talks about active transportation and stuff. And I just wanted to say that the name kind of implies like the main benefit of active transportation is exercise, and it sort of evokes a certain image in the eyes of upper middle class people usually. But I live on Shady Drive, which I would characterize as one of the more middle class areas of a township that has a reputation in Western Pennsylvania for being of a certain social class. And there are, I see a lot of people biking, using other mobility devices that may not strictly be legal up and down my street. My wife had to take my daughter somewhere this morning, and I had a doctor's appointment at St. Clair Hospital. So I rode my bike there. And then on the way back, I passed one of my neighbors riding to preschool to pick up her kid on her bicycle. So I just want to just drive home that active transportation isn't just about like exercise and feel good fuzzies. It is a very practical economic consideration for many of our residents. And I will be back for the budget hearing.
Great, thank you. Yes, I think of it as multimodal, all modes, not just one. Okay, next is Commissioner Grella.
Do we, I know we have a
Oh,
lot of.
sorry,
people signed up.
online.
Yeah.
Online, but aren't they after this? Conduct the public hearing?
Is there anyone who
still
signed up
doing
for the budget
general-
hearing who actually meant to make public comments? No?
There's only one person.
Is there anybody who signed up for something they're not aware of, but
Yeah.
actually wants to make public comments? Come on up.
Yep. But do state your name and address,
Yeah.
please.
Will do. Hi there, Justice Roloff, 254 Academy Avenue. It's kind of funny because they all just left, but I wanted to make a comment concerning the driving habits of the law enforcement officers and even one of the, what I assume to be fire people driving a red Ford Explorer kind of thing. I regularly see them going up and down Academy and Cedar at speeds exceeding 30 miles an hour. That's it. I think it needs to be stopped. I think the law, if they have somewhere to go, fair enough. Maybe turn on the lights, maybe speed on a wider road that's not in a residential area. That's pretty much about all I have to say.
Okay.
What are the
Thank you.
rules for that?
What, actually, a question, what can we do to address this in the immediate future?
Just in terms of, like, I understand the speeding request. What are the rules for police in the municipality?
It's generally they follow the traffic rules. So if they need to. be fair,
Lights.
they turn the lights on.
Right.
I will note that Academy Avenue leads directly to the station, and a lot of the times they're going up the hill, so I don't necessarily think they're speeding on back to the station for a call.
I will state that I've had this conversation several times. It is a conversation that I continue to have. Not sure exactly what the resolution is, but I think it's something that I've observed as well.
Can we bring in state police? Is that possible?
Oh, God.
Thank you.
Are there any citizens' comments online?
No, nobody online.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Grella, item number 5, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Consideration of minutes from the adjourned meeting held October 22, 2024. I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Thanks, Steve.
Any discussion? Not seeing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Item number 6, Commissioner Siegler.
Thank you, Madam President. Consideration of resolution, wait, I'm not sure I'm in the right place yet.
Public hearing.
Consideration,
Public hearing.
no, I am the one. Thank you. Public hearing on the 2025 manager's recommended budget and the proposed tax rate for the year 2025. The manager's 2025 recommended budget, prepared pursuant to the Home Rule Charter, was submitted to the Commission November 1st, 2024. Residents may inspect the budget during normal business hours at 710 Washington Road, Municipal Building, and at the library. The recommended budget is also available at Mount Lebanon's website, mountlebanon.org. Tonight, citizens have the opportunity to provide written and oral comments and suggestions regarding the budget and tax rate for 2025. The tax rate is proposed at 4.5 mils. The public will also have an opportunity on December 10th, 2024 to comment on the commission's proposed adjustments to the manager's recommended budget. I move we conduct a public hearing.
Okay. A number of you have signed up. I'll call you in order, and if you'd come up to the podium and state your name and address. You have 5 minutes to tell us whatever you're thinking about the budget. We'll start with you, Elaine Kramer, please.
To the commission, my name is Elaine Kramer and I live at 783 Ellis Street. And I'm here representing Mount Lebanon Nature Conservancy this month, celebrating its 40th year of creating positive change in the community and our 3 natural parks. In partnership with the municipality, here also Angie Fairs, our board president. Sharda Sangamaswaran, our incoming board president, Tom Svetchek, who has been a board member for about 20 years and is a current member of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Moira Albach, the Conservancy's volunteer coordinator, and my fellow board member, Elizabeth Hick. So we're speaking jointly rather than individually in acknowledgement of the long night ahead for the commission. And I know you've already had a long meeting already. And we are here to comment about one line item in the DPW budget, earmarking $5,000 for the purchase of plant material and related supplies for use in the 3 natural parks in collaboration with community groups, us. And we wish to thank Manager McGill and Assistant Manager McMeans, DPW Director Sue Call, and Mr. Avolio, Parks Coordinator, for including this in the manager's proposed budget and departmental budget. We respectfully ask that the commission keep this item in the budget through the final adoption vote. The Conservancy has been actively removing invasive species and planting natives, trees, shrubs, other plants to restore our parks, which have been degraded over time from invasive species and dying trees. Moreover, we involve the community in our efforts by offering volunteer and educational opportunities for youths and adults alike. $5,000 spending by the municipality would allow the Conservancy to advance this successful work. Though this line item is very small compared to the municipal budget as a whole, it will make an enormous difference in our parks. It represents an amount of money that our reliable and thrifty, yet very small nonprofit would be very hard pressed to raise each year for similar items. May we please point out that this spending line item is supported quite directly in 3 places in the comprehensive plan. The engagement chapter, where the municipality states ways with community partners, us. The resiliency chapter, which encourages in several places the planting of native species to improve ecosystem health and community health. And of course, the Parks and Recreation chapter, which recommends investing in managing the native woodlands in our parks, which are important to the quality of life, health, and well-being of residents. And it recommends specifically spending money. In addition, this spending line item also has roots in the recently adopted Forestry Management and Invasive Species Control Plan, which encourages better stewardship of the 3 natural parks, including planting native trees and managing invasives. As well, and importantly, this 2025 spending line item is one of the priorities supported by the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Finally, let us close by demonstrating how the all-volunteer Conservancy will multiply the value of this municipal expenditure. Some of you are very interested in making the most of every single dollar, and we are too. In 2024, the value of 1 hour of volunteer time in Pennsylvania is $31. This according to independentsector.org, which researches and publishes numbers for each state. If you multiply that $31 by 3 hours of a typical park improvement project, and again by 60, which is the number of volunteers who participated at our most recent work days, the total comes to an in-kind donation of $5,500. Hence, the value of the 5,000 line item is more than matched in-kind in just one of the Nature Conservancy's volunteer days. And we have at least 6 of those a year. So in Mount Lebanon Nature Conservancy's 40th year, we remind you that this small line item in the budget will be of great importance to our parks ecosystems, our air quality, our water quality, our parkland, and of course to Mount Lebanon residents who volunteer and to the thousands who visit our parks annually. Thank you.
Thank you very much and happy 40th. I know, right? Next, Beth McCabe.
Hi, everyone. My name is Beth McCabe. I have my daughter Amelia with me this evening. We live at 104 Shady Drive West. I'm here tonight to provide some feedback on the 2025 budget. And I just want to begin by saying I'm not an expert in budgets. So if I'm misinterpreting some information, I apologize and please correct me. So Amelia and I just finished doing international night over at Washington Elementary. It was fantastic. It's well after her bedtime, so I think you can tell how committed and important this issue is for us. We're here advocating for safer streets, crosswalks, and sidewalks in our community. And for sure, we're not alone in our desire for safer walking conditions. In fact, the #1 desire expressed by residents in the comprehensive plan survey is to improve and expand sidewalk networks and safe crossings. So the municipality spent thousands and thousands of dollars developing and administering a survey to find out what residents want to see prioritized in their community. And after the results were published, the municipality spent the next year creating the 2025 budget. And I'm very happy to see that the sidewalk assessment program has been reinstated. I think that's a great step in the right direction. But I have to admit that I'm genuinely confused as to why so little money is budgeted to address the primary concerns that were expressed by the residents. There was a lot of effort that went into doing the survey, engaging with the community, I know in multiple in ways, and I think residents really thought that they were being heard. For example, the Sidewalk Improvement Fund, it's ranked as number 210 out of 259 on the list of service level items. And I think it falls below the cut line for things that are funded, but correct me if I'm wrong on that. Is the black line the cutoff line?
It is.
Okay. So that is definitely, so it's off the cutoff line on the capital investment plan and it's also on the general fund. So it appears that the tennis center is receiving $131,000 for fencing. That's $500 more than is allotted for sidewalks, and it's guaranteed. It's above the cut line. It's number 16, cut line 17 in the capital investment plan is sidewalks. So fencing over sidewalks, I'm really struggling. But I want to be clear. I love the tennis center. Amelia plays tennis, and I want to see it to continue to grow and be maintained. But as it stands, I will not let her or my son walk there on their own. I'm afraid they'll get killed crossing Cochrane. In fact, I debated whether to come here tonight. We were going to international night. This was late, but let me just give you a little tidbit of what happened. We were standing across at Lebanon Avenue and Washington Road, an intersection. I bike daily with the kids, but today I was on foot. We pushed the crosswalk button. Lights were red. Crosswalk was on, and I happened to look, and a car 40 miles an hour ran not just one, 2 lights. They ran the one at Castle, whatever, by the library, Castle Shannon, and then the second one. Had I not looked, I wouldn't be here talking to you tonight. This happens constantly. So, yeah, crosswalks aren't even mentioned in the budget. So I know beyond what's the status quo of repainting, but it's not working. It's not working. The crosswalks, I don't know what the answer is. I sit on the mobility board for the municipality, and at our last meeting, we had over a dozen residents begging for traffic calming on their streets, something to make it safe for kids to walk and play. The voice is getting louder, and the budget, which is supposed to direct what we're focused on, we're cutting, like the sidewalks, and not everybody's asking for sidewalks. People are asking for traffic calming and better crosswalks. That's not even mentioned in the plan. So I guess I just want to reiterate, you've asked the community, we've spoken, we've said what we wanted, but why isn't it being funded? And I hope that maybe some thought could go back into making sure that sidewalks at a very meager amount, or at least above the cut line. So, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
President. I provide
Yes.
at least a partial response.
Sure.
So as the manager who puts together the recommended budget, let me
Mhm.
just hopefully respond to some of your comments. So as you're aware, the municipality's undertaking an active transportation plan.
Mhm.
That's really just in its very beginning stages. So we don't have specific recommendations yet from that plan. Therefore, there's really not a lot to, I'll say, allocate to at this point until we complete that plan. As it relates to the sidewalk expansion, which is a policy that the commission is very invested in. We will have that first, I'll say sidewalk expansion that will occur in 2025. We'll put it out to bid early in 2025. That'll be over on Woodland. So by the time we get through that process and we go through our normal, I'll say, other sidewalk work that we do here from a, excuse me, from a timing standpoint, we really won't make the next construction cycle until 2026. So that's the reason that it's below the line, not because it's not important, but just from a timing standpoint.
Okay.
To your question about crosswalks, that would all be part of the active transportation plan.
Okay.
But the municipality does have a crosswalk policy that's been established. So that's out there and available for residents to look at, as the same is also true with traffic calming. If a resident or group of residents feel that their street needs traffic calming, they can go to the mobility board. We have a traffic calming process that you can go through. The neighborhood goes through that with the assistance of our traffic engineer to see if it meets certain criteria. If it does, it moves to the next step, which is what we discussed earlier tonight in discussion session for scrub grass. So I don't know if that completely answers all of your questions, but just a little bit about the thought process that I had as I developed the budget.
I would also mention that the manager delivers the recommended budget based on things like the comprehensive plan and things that have been discussed at meetings and through boards. And then the commissioners have several meetings with staff and with the public to discuss what changes are going to be made, if any, to the budget. So the recommended budget is rarely, if ever, the adopted budget.
Right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So there will be changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There will be
Right,
changes.
right. Yeah, so there's time. It's, absolutely appropriate to speak your mind and say that you wish, there were certain things changed and, things like that. And I'm sure there are commissioners here who completely agree and are already advocating for things like
Right.
that.
For that. And Beth, thank you for your help.
For hearing us out.
on
so
all of this.
I
You've
appreciate
really
that.
done a great job.
Thank you.
Adam Flango, you're next.
Thank you all. Good evening. My name is Adam Flango, and I live at 723 North Meadowcroft. I'd like to begin my comment tonight by asking 3 questions. Who feels welcome in Mount Lebanon? Who does not feel welcome in Mount Lebanon? And why? I don't think a person in this room this evening or anyone in the municipality could provide us with anything more than a story here or there as something of an answer. And the reason is simple. We have not asked these questions. As our municipality considers the 20 items for the 2025 budget, I believe it is essential that Mount Lebanon conduct a survey of its residents to determine how we can make our municipality more welcoming for everyone. I have been advocating for a community survey for the last 4 years. First, as a member of the DEI ad hoc committee that started at the end of 2020. Then as a member of the Community Relations Board, and today as the Vice Chair of the Civic Engagement Board. During that time, it has become abundantly clear that in order to be a welcoming community for all, we must understand what we are doing well and where we are falling short. This is what a community survey will seek to address. By engaging with experts, we can work to ensure that we have a representative sample of Mount Lebanon residents and visitors, and that voices of people across identities are heard. We can ask questions that will lead to actionable data for the municipality and the community. And by conducting this survey at regular intervals over the years, we can clearly show the progress our community is making to becoming more welcoming. This work started out as a DEI survey, but really it's about ensuring that everyone in Mount Lebanon feels welcome. And I know from talking with residents as a board member and from conversations with people in the municipality that there is a desire for Mount Lebanon to be a welcoming community, That's why "This is home" is our community slogan. But ensuring that we are welcoming to all requires a financial commitment. It's easy to have one-off moments that on the surface show that we are welcoming, but it's harder to put our money where our mouth is. And if we are not willing to invest in answering the questions of who feels welcome in Mount Lebanon, who does not feel welcome in Mount Lebanon, and why, then it is impossible to measure how our community is growing. So with that, I implore the commission to approve the community satisfaction survey for the 2025 budget, which is in the Public Information Office budget part, and firmly show our community that Mount Lebanon is committed to being a welcoming community for all.
Thank you, Adam. Yes, you can ask a question. Whoop, wait, up.
So I'm just curious because earlier this year in discussion session, the commission, I believe, approved $5,000
Or
for
the welcoming
welcoming.
city thing. Yeah,
How are
with the
those two
designation.
related, Adam, or are they?
They're not, they're two separate things. The communities, the welcoming community is the money that goes towards pursuing a designation of Mount Lebanon as a welcoming community. It fits under, it's us presenting research to a separate organization that verifies that Mount Lebanon marks XYZ to get this organization seal of approval to be a welcoming community.
So would that survey that you're referring to be of any benefit in that application process?
I would think that it would be definitely beneficial to the application process, but that's less so that where you're talking it's less so about like seeking out like feedback from the community and more so just making sure that we provide this service or we provide that service or we have this kind of qualification.
Okay, I was just trying to
No, yeah, I appreciate
understand how the
it.
two relate.
Yeah, they're two different things. Okay,
So-
thank you.
I said a quick question. So a
Mhm.
couple of weeks ago, during discussion session, we talked about surfacing the recommendations of the DEI boards.
Right,
And it was my understanding that the CEB was going through those again.
they are.
Okay.
Mhm. They have a subcommittee that's doing that and working on it right now.
Okay.
So,
And just so people know, for our vast viewing audience, when those boards came together, there were a lot of recommendations, well over 100 recommendations, some which were going to clearly take a lot of time to implement, some that probably were never going to be implemented just because of the types of recommendations they were, some that were legally infeasible to implement. Some of them we implemented right away and put budget to. That also happened at the confluence of programs changing here. We rolled a lot of the different boards into different, so we had a constriction of some of the boards and a kind of re-envisioning of that. And we had thought that some of the new boards would take up that work and carry it on. And then there were conversations about, are some of these recommendations the work of the municipality, or are they the work of nonprofits like that were just up here and other civic organizations? So we had a lot of conversations about that and where some of that work fell. And our hope was that the CEB would now be working on those and really ranking them for us and bringing them back and saying, hey, like, these are our top 5. We can't do, 1,000 of them a year just for budget reasons, staff reasons, capacity, things like that. So my understanding was that CEB was going to be doing a lot of that work and then, bringing recommendations back to us.
The CEB subcommittee has met and they've identified 3 things that they want, that they feel are priorities. One of them is Adam's survey that Adam has been, advocating for.
That's correct.
Yeah. So yeah, no, they've narrowed them down to, things that they think we can accomplish in a year. I've met with manager and gotten seals of approval and we're moving forward. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you very much.
Next, Kirill Tropin. Did I pronounce that right? Thanks. I don't want to mess it up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kirill Tropin, 945 Margareta Avenue. I enjoyed reading the budget proposal. Took me a couple hours, but very well put together. Thank you for doing it. So I have a few notes, some positives and some ideas to discuss potentially. So positives, I'm really glad to see spending on zoning study. That's going to be one of the most important things we do in the next couple of years. So glad to see that. Sidewalk assessment and Activate Uptown. So it's really important for people to keep coming here and spending the money with our businesses. So Activate Uptown was good to see it there. So then some ideas to discuss. So we're spending money on recreation upgrades, quite a lot. So I think if we look at recreation as a unit, it's in deficit for next year. Specifically, page 57, you could see the deficit for all of our revenues and expenses with recreation. And then when I think about our tennis courts, when I think about that area in general, I go jogging there probably once every 2 weeks. And so I go there to exercise. And how do I do that? I drive my car. And it's a little bit silly, right? You drive your car to exercise. Instead, I could be riding a bicycle, but I don't feel safe getting there. It's not clear where I would park the bicycle safely, so it wouldn't be stolen. So my idea, maybe we start thinking holistically, if that's the area of recreation, maybe we figure out how to bring people there by bicycles or by foot. So there was another idea from earlier today, and have a place for people to park their bicycles as well, if they're coming by bikes. And maybe we stretch out the expenses a little bit, like if they seem concentrated in 2025, maybe we stretch them out a little bit and create opportunity to do a study, what to do with those bicycles or people coming on foot and make it safe for them to come and exercise. Another one, we are spending more than 7 million on police patrol and traffic safety, about 450K on police vehicles and rifles. I read through it, the reasoning seems reasonable. But then when I walk here in Uptown, I feel unsafe when it comes to red light, people running red lights. So I was here about a month ago, was sharing a story, and guess what? 2 weeks ago, it happened again. I was here in Uptown again, was about to cross, similar story to Beth, and I was a little bit slow. I was zoned out. That's why I didn't start crossing when it was green for me. And there was a car just flying in front of me. And like, it happens almost every time I'm here. So my question is, how could we change priorities for police potentially? Instead of doing patrol, how do we do traffic enforcement and more of that? Maybe start with just red lights here in Uptown where we have lots of people coming in to local businesses. How can we make it feel safe? Because this is public safety expenditure. How do we make people feel safe when they come here? Ideally, of course, we would have red light cameras, right? We don't want police policing it. But before we get red light cameras, could we do some enforcement here? And I think anybody you talk to will have a story for you for that. Another one, parking fund looks great. It's generating some revenue, but I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about the South Garage, which will probably going to be renovated or some work will be done there. So we might be losing some parking spots, right? And how would people come here? How would they park their cars? And when I think about parking spots, it just takes one car. So one parking spot it could be occupied by one car. We have people riding their bicycles. What if we replace one parking slot with 5 to 10 places to park bicycles? And instead of 1 to 2 people coming by car, all of a sudden we have 5+ people coming, occupying the same spot, but now they're coming by bicycles and we have people that ride bicycles here. And that will help relieve the pressure from when we're losing South Garage. And since parking fund is in profit, maybe we have a bit of money there to spend on repurposing some of our parking spots. All right, and then last one, sidewalk. Yes, of course, +1. That was a priority for the community. Let's figure out what we could do. I totally get the point from the manager that if there is nothing to allocate money to, how could we have it in the budget? But let's see what can we do, because that's a priority for the community. People are asking for it. People are coming to schools. People go to for a walk. Few weeks ago in my area, so I'm in Ward 3, I saw a young mom pushing a buggy uphill. And how was she doing it? She wasn't doing it on the sidewalk because there was a pole in the middle of the sidewalk and it was uphill. So she was using full force of her body to push the stroller with the baby on the road, of course, because there was no other place for her to do it. And of course, she wants to go for a walk. It's really important for young moms to do that. What can we do to improve our sidewalks? Maybe there are existing ways to allocate and spend that money to keep on making our sidewalks better. Yeah, that's all I had. Thank you so much. I appreciate your attention.
Thank you very much. Okay, next, Bob Abraham.
Good evening. My name is Bob Abraham and I live at 944 Academy Place. I'm here to address the need for a head tennis pro at the Mount Lebanon Tennis Center. That tennis center has been here for over 50 years. Twice, the United States Tennis Association recognized the tennis center in Mount Lebanon as the best public facility in the country. Twice. We have had multiple WPIAL state champions come from our tennis program. Berta McCallum was a state champion. She played professional tennis, played in the US Open, Wimbledon, and the French Open. Gretchen Rush was a collegiate women's All-American Hall of Fame tennis player from Mount Lebanon. Dawn Johnson from Mount Lebanon won 2 Wimbledon titles in doubles. We have produced, not we, but they have produced many, many good tennis players there. Unfortunately, when Hank Hughes suffered a stroke last year, we didn't replace him. We had no tennis pro last year. And for the 55 years that I've been playing here, that's the only year we haven't had a tennis pro. A tennis pro will make a difference. What has happened in Mount Lebanon, from what I am told, I'm part of the older group, so I don't know the young kids, but our young tennis, kids that are really have potential, they're going to Upper St. Clair, where they have a wonderful woman who is the head pro there. They're going to Glen Creek. They're going to Peters Township. They no longer come to Mount Lebanon because we don't have a pro. We have some good instructors for the young kids, the 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, and they do a nice job. We have a good tennis manager that you hired last year, Darren. He's been wonderful. Jason, the guy that does the maintenance, is wonderful. We're just lacking a head pro. To maintain the level of excellence that we've had in this tennis center that is recognized around the country, we need a good head pro. A good head pro will attract people to the courts, to our tennis center. He or she will be attracting young kids from other areas that want to increase their ability to go on further to college or to the pros for tennis. A good pro will start adult leagues for new adults that want, or tennis players for the first time want to play adult tennis. A head pro will have organized clinics for kids. And I believe all of that will bring more money into the tennis center to pay for the employees and the maintenance of that wonderful facility. I would urge you to consider hiring a very good head pro with a big personality, because that means a lot. A big personality brings people in. They want to see the pro, man or woman, it doesn't matter. I urge you to do that so we can maintain what we now have and have had for years, one of the best facilities in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. We appreciated your letter as well.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Rosenblum.
I was really supposed to comment earlier, but I was trying to raise my hand. It's not about the budget.
That's okay. We'll allow you to comment.
Very much. Thank you all. I want to dovetail on something that one of the previous speakers spoke about feeling welcome in town. So my name is Mendel Rosenblum, and I live at 821 Ridgefield Avenue. And our center, the Jewish Center for Living and Life, is on McFarland Road, 1701 McFarland Road. And I've been trying for the last few years, very gently, to have some sort of representation of the Jewish community in the holiday celebrations. And when I got off the elevator today, I saw your poster there that speaks about the holiday celebration, and everything about the holiday celebration looks beautiful, but it's not inclusive of the Jewish faith at all. Mount Lebanon and the South Hills in general is the second largest Jewish community in Pittsburgh. And we feel, when I say we, I can't say I'm speaking on behalf of the whole Jewish community, but a large portion of the Jewish community feels that those events should have some representation of Hanukkah. Maybe, in addition to the elves and to Santa and to everything else that's appropriate for the season, something about Hanukkah, a menorah or something to that effect. I've, over the last 2 years, given specific proposals. Once we asked to put a menorah up, another time we wanted at least the car procession to go through Mount Lebanon, and it's been met with a lot of resistance. I did speak to Jeff, who's the commissioner for our ward. He was very helpful and very kind in trying to help, but I didn't feel like we kind of moved the ball forward. And we're coming up on Hanukkah, and I wanted to know if there was any possible way that this could be included in the celebration. I know that it's not a legal issue because I was very involved, and I could tell you that there's a menorah lighting at the City County Building in Pittsburgh. There's a menorah lighting in Washington, PA that we do. There's a menorah lighting in Dormont. There's menorah lightings in many Pittsburgh communities. There's also all over the country and the world. You have municipalities and townships and cities that are joining in, and including the entire community in the celebrations. I know that it's certainly not anyone's intention to make it like an exclusive holiday celebration. But it does take a little bit of effort to make sure that we're being inclusive of everyone in the community. So I guess if I have to end with a question, I wanted to know, what is it that I need to do to be able to make something like this happen? Either a menorah being included in the holiday celebration or some sort of representation of the Jewish community, which is a very, very valued part of this community.
I'm looking at Phil.
Again, we talked about this last year in executive session. We can talk about it again.
Okay. And get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, John Reagan, you are up again. There you are.
Hello again, John Reagan. I'm still John Reagan, 777 Shady Drive East. In the interest of brevity and avoiding hypocrisy, since I am the employee of a federal agency that I don't always think is a faithful steward of taxpayer dollars, I'm not going to go into what I see as the ineffectiveness of the Mount Lebanon Police Department, except to say that as a resident of Shady Drive East, the other side of Washington Road, I also seem to perceive an unusual portion of the reckless driving that occurs on my street is bound for the public safety building. I think what I really came here to talk about is a philosophy with that in mind, is a philosophy of capital investment versus labor to solve problems. Prevention versus cure, as Benjamin Franklin would say. So I'm also on the mobility board with Beth, and we hear a lot of resident complaints where everyone wants signs and enforcement on their street, and it would explode the policing budget if we actually gave them what we wanted and gave them what they wanted in that way. You all tonight saw a presentation on Scrubgrass Road, which I think is typical of a lot of the streets where we've been seeing complaints. And that is a street that is very wide because the philosophy at the time was that, this street needs to have 2 travel lanes. It needs to have parking for several vehicles, even though the residents all have driveways on these streets, but are required by law to have driveways. So we have this 30-foot wide street with occasionally like a landscaper or someone parked on the side, but most of the time it's just a straight open 30-foot wide street. And then we're like, why are there people driving 50 miles an hour down this road that's wider than an interstate highway? Not in aggregate, but the lane is wider. So I think that we have a lot of streets that we need to fix, and that in the long run, taking care of those will be an investment in public safety. Because as I understand it, the police and fire department make up a huge part of the municipal budget, and a huge part of what they do is to clean up crashes. There are janitors. And also, as the police enforce traffic laws to some extent. I mean, we've all seen the DoorDash drivers surreptitiously violating state law in like large groups in the middle of rush hour on Washington Road. I mean, they're not exactly being stealthy about it, so I don't know how hard it is to catch them. But anyway, yeah, I am in my personal philosophy is we need to make the streets safe and then do an appropriate amount of enforcement and not just be like have scofflaws everywhere and wonder why we can't solve the problem. Because even in a hypothetical scenario where the police are well-funded, motivated, and competent, they cannot be everywhere on our 80-some miles of streets in our town. I think that's all I have to say.
I'd like to say a few things then, please. I never realized in this town how much the police do until I got the yearly report from the chief. It's astonishing the amount of crime we have, the amount of help they give to people, and the number of things they do. I frankly am a very strong believer in redesigning the streets to slow the traffic, not throwing millions of policemen on it to try to enforce it, because that's a never-ending battle. I agree with you. Let's redesign the streets, which is something that we're undertaking. The same way with the fire department. The fire department, the reason we don't have as many fires as so many places do is because of their work in prevention. Emergency management is not something that lends itself to a perfect aggregate of efficiency, because you never know how many you're going to need if there's a big emergency. So it's not so easy to just say, okay, and blah, 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 blah. It really takes more than that. I'm very proud of the work that both of those departments do. We will talk to the chief about slowing down people in police cars that are breaking the rules. But other than that, I think it really is important to note that they do their jobs, they work very hard, and we're very proud of what they do for us. We're working on the streets, and boy, we can't do it fast enough. We understand that. We're really working very hard to get those things straightened out. But please, the police and fire are very valuable to this community and are very much a part of why it's a great place to live, but not perfect.
Not perfect. I know my time has expired, but just in response, like I'm kind of I don't know if the budget showed this level of detail. I didn't find it in my time, but it's my understanding that the typical American town, a huge part of those two very large budgets is cleaning up crashes. So like that is something we just want to go down. Like we don't want like
Sure.
I'm aware that the police are doing a lot of work, that they're not just fighting crime and they have a lot to do. But one of those things that they do, and which I assume is a lot of their work, I just don't think, I think we just want to make that number go down.
Sure, we all do. We all want safer streets, safer places for our pedestrians. Very committed to it. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
comments.
And we're trying to use all the tools in our toolbox. Unfortunately, certain things like someone had mentioned earlier about red light cameras. I understand
allowed.
you're not legally allowed to use them at this time. We wish. Same thing for using radar to try and slow down cars. Again, we're not allowed to do it.
How-
We'd love to, but
But it is of
we're not
note
allowed
that
to.
our manager has been lobbying for these things. These aren't, we throw up our hands and say, oh, doggone it. He's out lobbying, doing the work along with the commission to do it. It's just not always easily changed.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything they want to say?
Well, I think some of that's true. I mean, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, we wrote a letter to our state rep and our state senator asking them to advocate for the ability for local municipalities to do red light cameras, because it's an easy It's an easy win. It'd be great to do that.
Right.
We literally don't have the ability to do it, and it seems kind of silly that we don't. It's tough to get that through. But that's one of the things where we need an advocacy campaign with our state legislators to
Right.
literally change law so that we can then go and enact something locally. Because unfortunately, we can't do it without it. So we have been advocating for that as Ann had said, and as recently as just a couple weeks ago. So, and we have a lot of meetings, these meetings kind of seem perfunctory here, and in a lot of ways they are, but we spend a lot of our time having conversations about how do we change roads? How do we make roads safer? Having conversations with residents on Country Club about changing that two-way road to a one-way road and putting sidewalks so it's easier and safer to get to Howe Elementary School. So we have these conversations on our own time, and we have a lot of meetings where we talk about how we can make this place safer. I think a lot of that will come out with an active transportation plan, and then we're gonna have a whole lot of work to do on top of that. But listen, we take all these comments. I mean, I have a lot of notes. I usually don't write things down, but I have a ton of notes here just from some of the conversations we had here on stuff that we really need to follow up with on budget time. So, we hear you. We definitely hear you.
I have one more comment.
Yeah, no, go ahead, please.
Double parking on Washington Road slows traffic. I'm going to publicly say to you that I really don't want that enforced until we have some way to try to slow the cars going through red lights. That is one way it slows people down. So, I mean, we don't have a perfect solution, so. Sure, of course. Yeah, of course. Well, the speedway. Okay, we're not gonna have a long discussion and argue. We gotta keep going on with our meeting, but we are appreciative to all of you for showing up and talking. I answer letters, I answer phone calls, I meet with people all the time, and my door is always open, as they say, along with all these other guys. Thank you. Item number, so close the public hearing.
You gotta check online.
Online, sorry. I always forget online. I'm so sorry, online people. Is anybody online?
There's nobody.
Kevin's, woo, saved by the bell.
I have 3 emails that came
Yes,
in
you did.
to
Thank
read
you.
into the record as part of the public hearing on the budget. The first is from Alejandro Sanchez. It says, "Good evening. My name is Alejandro Sanchez and I live with my family in 913 Miami Avenue. I won't be able to attend tomorrow's meeting, but want to address something I don't see yet as a priority in the 2025 municipal budget: crosswalks. I would like to invite you one day to cross Cochran Avenue between Miami Avenue and Lebanon Avenue, right in front of the high school, to understand what unsafety is. I drive a car when it is needed, and that is what I know why I know for sure the experience of a driver is much different from that of a pedestrian. I also know that Cochran Road is a state road, yet for that same reason, it should be a point of intervention. It's a road of transit for people from much different municipalities that may not be aware of how important it is to watch and respect pedestrians. I am sure there is a lot of other sensitive crossing points across Mount Lebanon, which is why it is so important to prioritize people walking and not just drivers. Safe crosswalks cannot be built because there is a risk for the pedestrians. On the contrary, pedestrians must be a key component of the life in a community, so roads and crosswalks are also designed around them. Thank you, and let us invite our community to see our neighborhood from the eyes of a student crossing the street every day in the morning to go to school. We could learn a lot collectively about a comprehensive way to approach mobility." I have a follow-up email that came from Move Lebo, actually in support of that email, that says, "Hi, Alejandro. Thanks so much for taking the time to share your comments with us. We absolutely agree. Crosswalks on Cochran need to be an immediate priority and budgeted accordingly. We appreciate your continued support and engagement." And then finally, I have an email from Greg Boris. "Greetings. Below are my comments regarding the proposed budget for Mount Lebanon. My name is Greg Boris. I live at 900 Washington Road. From my place, I have access to the library, the uptown commercial area, and transit. I also see motorized vehicles on Washington Road going at speeds that are faster than warranted in a residential / education / church / commercial area. What may be safe for motorized vehicles is perceived by walkers as unsafe. This perception serves to dissuade people from walking. I believe that Mount Lebanon should act in accordance with its comprehensive plan. Specifically, the top 2 recommendations call for safe streets and crossings. With this in mind, I make the following action items from least expensive to most expensive. Number 1, post the speed limit southbound on Washington Road just past Castle Shannon. The current sign, actually 2 signs, read end, sign 1, speed limit 25, sign 2. Coming from Dormont into Mount Lebanon, the speed limit varies from 25 miles per hour to 35 miles per hour. It is unclear what the limit is south of Castle Shannon. Given that this is the end of one school zone and entering another with several traffic lights, I suggest the limit be 25 up to Vernon. All this would entail is removing the end sign. 2, installing a railing on a building on the north side of Alfred between Washington Road and the T-tracks. A similar situation and solution can be found in Seattle on Broad Street, coming up from Elliott Bay to the Space Needle. A bench midway would be helpful for those who need to take a break. 3, use a portable speed bump, which would be deployed at 3 places in each direction between Vernon and Castle Shannon during school hours. Such speed bumps are being used by the Fayetteville, Arkansas Fire Department when fighting fires and in construction in Sioux Falls, South Dakota on Basone, just south of 57 in 2021. My work has included data collection and analysis. I've counted over 200 students walking in this corridor during 40+ different observations. Our children deserve reduced speeds for their safety. Design makes a difference. Signs do not. Number 4, while I count from my vantage point at Hazel and Washington Road, I see on average 1 vehicle every 10 minutes making an illegal left turn from Hazel onto Washington Road. This occurs even though a sign prohibiting such turns is posted. People ignore signs, but find it harder to ignore things that get in their way. With that in mind, another temporary, only during posted times, lane diverter should be obtained and used on Hazel so Hazel traffic can only turn right. Number 5, this is the most expensive item. I realized that the Uptown project considered many things, including ADA compliance. Over the years, I worked with various programs addressing disability issues. One thing I learned is that technical compliance doesn't necessarily work for people with disabilities. Such is the case on Washington Road at Alfred. There's a dip on both sidewalk ramps, with the one by Howard Hanna being most significant. It seems that each week I see someone struggling on that ramp. It could be an older person, a parent with kids, and maybe a stroller, or a person in a wheelchair or with a walker. The fix for this costs. My suggestion is to raise the street level to create a table, making a less severe ramp and creating a speed bump to slow motorized vehicles. I hope you will take these suggestions to heart, along with acting in accordance with the comprehensive plan.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Any other comments? Okay. Item number, close the public hearing. Okay, close the public hearing. No one should ever give me one of these. I know, I don't use it enough. Okay, item number 7, Commissioner Silverman, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Introduction of ordinance bill number 4-24, amending the 2024 budget for revenue and expenditures not anticipated in the 2024 budget. The following adjustments proposed there on my right and the audience's left.
Wait, they're not up yet.
Yeah, the details aren't up there yet. Don't have a slide for that?
Oh,
Ah,
it's too small.
Too small, okay, so general fund revenue, use of fund balance and the justification is commission authorization, $177,210. Intergovernmental Finance Cooperative, again, because of commission authorization, $64,000. Tennis Center operational changes, again, commission authorization, $271,000. Next, insurance proceeds from the ice rink chiller, emergency repairs, $315,230. And finally, investment earnings actually received $50,000 totaling $877,440. The offset of the expenditures, police chief vehicle purchase as opposed to lease is the justification, $36,180. Intergovernmental Finance Cooperative, commission authorization, $42,000. Tennis Center operational changes due to commission authorization, $315,480. Social Service Coordinator, funded by commission authorization, $25,620. Timber Creek Stairs, and funded by commission authorization, $67,000. And finally, rink ice chiller, due to emergency repair, cost $391,160, again totaling $877,440. Having said that, I introduce bill number 4-24.
Set the public hearing for November 26, 2024.
I successfully emptied the room, sorry.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. Introduction of ordinance bill number 5-24 concerning the municipality's 2025 budget. The commission held a scheduled budget work session to review the budget on Wednesday, November 6th. Additional budget work sessions will be held on Wednesday, November 13th, Monday, November 25th, and if needed, on Wednesday, December 4th. A public hearing was just held to comment on the manager's 2025 recommended budget. A second public hearing is scheduled on December 10th regarding any commission revisions to the manager's recommended budget. The 2025 budget ordinance is scheduled for consideration at the December 10th, 2024 meeting. Madam President, I introduce ordinance bill number 5-24.
Going to set the public hearing for December 10th, 2024. Commissioner Grella.
Thank you, Madam President. Introduction of bill number 6-24, fixing the tax rate for the year 2025. The municipality will be fixing its tax rate in accordance with the adopted budget. The tax rate for general purposes is currently 4.50 mils. The tax rate shall be fixed at the rate of 4.50 mils for the year 2025 and continue in force for each successive calendar year without annual reenactment unless the tax is subsequently changed. I introduce ordinance bill number 6-24.
Set the public hearing for November 26, 2024. Item number 10, Commissioner Siegler.
Thank you, Madam President. Consideration of resolution number R-14-24, authorizing the participation of the municipality in Allegheny County Economic Development's Active Allegheny Grant Program. The municipality, for the benefit of its citizens, wishes to submit a grant application to the grant program in conjunction with the Borough of Dormont, which provides financial assistance to municipalities to develop community plans and design transportation projects that will, when implemented, provide bicycle and pedestrian connections to the critical local destinations and transportation systems and increase residents' opportunity for physical activity. The municipality is requesting $50,000 in funds for the multi-municipal active transportation plan. The plan aims to enhance pedestrian safety, especially for students, as both communities are walking school districts. Furthermore, the plan will target the creation of a safe multimodal transportation routes to economic development hubs, as well as decreasing reliance on fossil fuel reliant transportation. This grant application requires a 20% local match from the municipality. Madam President, I move to adopt resolution number R-14-24.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. No dissent, motion carries. Item number 11, Commissioner Silverman.
Thank you, Madam President. Consideration to purchase and install the Draeger Suite Survival Phase 2 training system through PA CoStar's contract 012-162. The fire department has identified the need for a dedicated fire training facility to serve the municipality and other area fire departments. This facility will be used to train existing personnel, new recruits and serve as a primary training site for the South Hills Area Council of Governments Essentials of Firefighting Recruit Program. As a member of PA CoStars, the municipality of Mount Lebanon is permitted to purchase goods and services through any active CoStars contract. Howell Rescue Systems Incorporated has submitted pricing totaling $701,312.35 to purchase and install the Draeger Swede Survival Phase 2 training system through PA CoStars Contract 012-162. The 2024 capital budget includes $621,300 to fund the fire department training facility project. On October 22nd, 2024, the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Financing Authority Board met and awarded an Allegheny County Gaming Economic Development Tourism Fund grant to the municipality in the amount of $621,300 for this initiative. Madam President, I move to authorize the purchase and installation of the Draeger Swede Survival Phase 2 training system through the Pennsylvania State Purchasing CoStars program from Howell Rescue Systems Incorporated at a total cost of $701,312.35.
Second.
We'd really like to thank our state representative, Dan Miller, and our state senator, Wayne Fontana, for making sure that we received this grant for this. This is something that I think is very valuable for the firemen in our community to actually experience what it's like to be in a real fire as opposed to fake fires, I guess. So I think it's going to be a wonderful addition to our public safety. Anybody else have any comments? No? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
No dissent, motion carries. We are adjourned.